Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Nakwa Yahu Nisha Yahu Yeshuraya here. Alright, today we're going to talk about a special case topic, transgender, but I'm going to title it The Third Woman. That's the reason why I said the third woman. Alright, so I want to get straight into it, but it do need a little bit of an introduction because it's something that haven't been hashed out yet, an issue that hasn't been talked about yet, really, with balance. There are a lot of things that need to be discussed when it comes to how, from the beginning of the creation of woman and man and things like that, so understanding of this transgender thing could be brought out. I made a video on Instagram, but it kept skipping out a lot, so you couldn't fully hear it. So if this one does better than that one, or you can hear it better, more clear, I might just switch it out. All right, so there's an issue that the people want me to talk about when it comes to the transgender, the LGBTQ AI plus community. A lot of the transgender people or men are no longer being accepted by the LGBT community on humble, like they're really like not feeling them, because, and there's a reason why, and I'm here to talk about that. So let's get into that, and it's also a good thing that's gonna come out from this. Why the creators allowing such a thing to be. It's a good thing that's going to come out of this. All right, of good and bad. So you have a path to choose after this video. All right, so let's get into it. The first scripture I want to go into is Legends of the Jews. All right, now Legends of the Jews is a canon. It's just something that was taken away from the original text of the original scriptures, like the Book of Joshua is a separate book that you have to go to. That's a part of the original canon of the Holy Scriptures. You also have the Apocrypha, which is original part of the 1611 King James Version. Somebody just thought that it was not canon, but it's not necessarily that they thought it was not canon, because it has the rest of Esther in it. So if you have missing chapters of Esther in the 1611 King James Version, and it's not in the King James Version today, then that's not a canon issue. That's just an issue about somebody feeling some kind of way about the writings there. So without that, you don't have the rest of the original canon Esther. So it's not you have to understand how to think. But the Legend of the Jews, you cannot find the reference of that anywhere. So you need a teacher like myself, a rabbi, to basically go into it, that know the scriptures and the culture and all of that stuff in and out, to basically go into it to assess if this is something that's a part of sacred text or not. And it is. All right, it just has more details, and it goes into the metaphysical and the spiritual side of things more than the original scriptures do, or whatever. You see in the prophets a lot where they go into spiritual things, or in the Brit Hadashah, the prepared covenant, the Savior go into spiritual things a lot. Eat of my flesh and drink of my blood. Spiritual things he say that sound crazy, like who's my father and mother? Who's my mother and my brother and my sister? Like those who stand around me and do the will of the Most High Father is my brother, my mother, and my sister. You know what I'm saying? When his blood mother and blood brothers were outside waiting for him or asking for him, he kind of like, you are my brother and my sister and mother. And such strange things he would say all the time that was spiritual and heavenly, that if you did not have a heavenly mind, you didn't understand. So if you don't have a heavenly mind, you're not going to even understand this one. But this video is for all people in the planet. It's not just for people with just a closed off mind and just see things a certain way. It's for people to analyze this and assess this to be fresh water, something that everyone drinks and need to drink to survive and live. All right, so our introduction over, let's go into it. Our first scripture, Legends of the Jews, chapter 2, under the subtitle Woman, paragraph 4. You'll find it says this: to banish his loneliness, which is talking about Adam here, all right? To banish Adam's loneliness, Lilith was first given to Adam as wife. Like him, she had been created out of the dust of the ground, but she remained only a short time with him. All right, so this is giving you a real quick synopsis of what happened in the beginning. He was made with a feminine part of him that was framed exactly the same, but they made differently a little bit differently to accommodate one another when it comes to procreation or whatever the case. So she was made Lilith. That was the first wife. Wasn't even Eve yet. or as her name is called Eve, her was properly called Who. In the English, that sounds funny, but in ancient times, before English existed, Who wasn't a funny thing to say. Who was her name? Excuse me. Who was her name? But Who, it's a reason why I said, excuse me, so Mr. Fly keep, but it's a reason why. To banish his loneliness, Lilith was first given to Adam as wife. All right. Like him, she had been created out of the dust of the ground, just like him in every way. The first wife, but she remained only a short time with him. She left him. All right, for the first Satan that existed. All right, and I'll say his name for teaching purposes. All right, and his name is Samyaza, so that you can understand that many different Satans, 10 Satans that is written of. There are 10 Satans, and he was the first to fall, Samyaza. And so Lilith left Adam for Samyaza, and her form was changed or whatever the case. But first she was made for Adam, the spirits of truth. And you can call them blue women or whatever the case, but they are metaphysical only. Okay, they have not lost their metaphysical, whatever the case. They stay in the metaphysical, as meaning you can only visit them when you sleep. You know, it's like you wake up, and then when you sleep, you wake up to another world, which is the metaphysical world. All right, and so that's where she is, and her daughters are there. And without Adam, she cannot procreate. She cannot bring forth children and things like that. So that was the reason she had need of him. All right, but she left him. That's the first woman, the first wife. All right, and let's continue on. Paragraph 2 of chapter 3, Adam and Lilith. All right, that's under the subtitle Adam and Lilith. Chapter 3, paragraph 2 said, though he avoided intercourse with Eve. Now this is, I know I skipped up some, but the story is after Lilith left him, Eve was made for him, and she caused the fall by eating the fruit. We already know that story. Or after Who, she ate the fruit, disobeying, not listening to her husband. She ate the fruit and caused the fall that we see today. Now everybody got to poop and pee, and everybody has to suffer. Everybody feel pain and suffering and all tiredness and all of this stuff. We're struggling, you know. All of this stuff we're encountering because of her disobedience and him taking the fall with her, you know. So we're going to bring it back in a minute, but let's go through this. It's a reason, something I got to pull out of here. It said, though he avoided intercourse, though he avoided intercourse with Who, he was visited in his sleep by female spirits, and from his union with them sprang shades and demons of various kinds, and they were endowed with peculiar gifts. All right, so this brings it back to Lilith again. After Who was made, and that was the second wife, Lilith still came back to her first husband. So really there's no divorce. There is no such thing as divorce. It's just women leave, or men feel bitter, and they only a man can really divorce his wife, but there are rules to that. You can't just willy-nilly do that. You need to know the rules of divorce and things like that. Like when you divorce somebody, it is basically you sending them to hell, you know, or there's some leniency going on for the sake of X, Y, and Z, whatever the special case might be. There's a special case there that really you have to like, that's a real special case. You know, not just fake special cases where people just get divorced left and right, making up stuff. You know, it has to be life and death stuff while you're getting divorced. You know, not just because I feel like this, you know. So, anyway, bringing it back. So he went back to, came back to find him when he left sorry. Lilith came back to find him when he left Who, which is Eve, for 130 plus years. He left her because of her, the fall happened. So he feeling some kind of way. And so he left her for 130 plus years. It's a long time to leave somebody. He didn't want to be around with her no more. It's like you had your first wife and you never heard of this new thing called woman, Eve, and it's given to you as a gift and you all loving it and I'm so happy I got something else now that can, you feeling good because your first wife left you and you broken up. You can't function right no more because you were made as both to be male and female parts, to be one part. Now that you don't have that other part of yourself, you're dying slowly. You're dismembered. Your blood is bleeding out and you're dying. So the Creator made another part of him, Eve, to basically accommodate him, to fill in that gap, to repair him. And she messed up and made a worse damage than what who did. Who just left him. I mean, sorry, Lilith did. Lilith just left him. Who she caused the fall. And now all creation messed up. And she like, dang, now who has this vendetta, which you call the Jezebel? I mean, sorry, not who. Lilith has this vendetta, who you call the Jezebel spirit, out on the children of Eve. She hate the children of Eve, you know, that hate truth and stuff like that. Or this, that, and the third. She hate them. Not all of them, but some of them, you know. And so they have this thing out. It's like an enmity between women, the daughters of Eve, that don't love holy men. She has this thing, this anger, this unstoppable anger she has towards the children of Eve, or who, that do not love men and women in the Most High Yah, that are genuinely serving him. She hates that. And so she goes out to try to kill them and harm them in different ways, and which is what she does today. As you see, a lot of paranormal activity stuff and this and that, you know. And demons is what she birthed. Not all demons, though. Some are shades, shadows, and phantoms, but they're not all bad. Some are not. But they don't like sometimes that they are related to mankind. They're close kin to mankind. They don't like that we're brothers and sisters, we're siblings, but they are not physical. They are metaphysical only. They're only spiritual, but they are related to us, and they are born through the means of man's life force, which is the sperm. Man's sperm has a double function. You know, the sperm is just the liquid physically, but you need that energy, or the soul, or the protoplasm, that life in that man's protoplasm, to bring forth life from heaven, to grow that baby, or a soul in that baby. Men that don't serve the Most High Yah and still have children, there are two things. Even the Most High hijacks the baby and get inside, and it's not a man's soul, it is the Most High, as in his body parts, like the mother of creation, or this different heavenly hosts come inside of that baby and hijack it and take control of the baby. You know, whereas you thinking a demon gonna come forth. But those days are over now. But it used to be like that. Now, men and women that have unions and have children that do not serve the Most High Yah, or are not married in the Most High Yah vowed in, they're only going to be demons coming up from hell to get inside of those babies and be born. Just like you saw in Constantine. In Constantine, the girl was pregnant, and then you saw Satan's son was trying to come through her stomach. That was a symbolization of saying that all children are not born from heaven. Some of them will come up from hell inside of physical bodies, and they activate at a certain time, and they show themselves who they are. Sometimes they activate early, like now. Like you see a lot of children acting crazy or saying crazy stuff out their mouth that they shouldn't be saying, you know, forbidden type stuff that be known even about, like they're activating early, okay? Because it's the very, very end. It's not the last days, it's the last minutes. All right, and the gates of heaven are closed. All of this stuff going on that people aren't focusing on because of food, shelter, clothing, you know, and the struggles of life on physical earth. You don't get focused to the upper things, or the heavenly things, or the spiritual things that are happening. Being spiritual is not everything. You know, you can be evilly spiritual, or you can be holily spiritual, whatever. You can be on the evil side or the pure side. So if you're on evil side, that's spiritual too. If you're on pure side, that's spiritual too. You know what I'm saying? You got to be 100% spiritual and 100% physical, because you're here. All right. Continuing on a little back road there. So as we saying here, so she came back. Who came back? Lilith came back to Adam and made love to him, which is her husband originally. So it was like, I might as well go back to my husband, beep, bop, boop, and children come forth from that. You know, a lot of shades, shadows, demons. So it's to let you know that when men ejaculate, a lot of times, where's the life force going? Where's the energy going? To basically that procreate energy to produce. You know, even though some men have fire dicks, some don't. But it's still, in itself, it has the ability to create or produce life or whatever. Not necessarily saying that you are holy, it's just you have the ability to produce life. You know, like the earth, you know, you till it, put a seed in it, it produces, you know, from the energy out here. It's like a system already. But, so yeah, you see that. So there's no divorce in that sense. So his first wife and the second wife were just two separate creations. And let's go into Eve real quick. Adam and who? Second, this is what I titled it. The second woman is who? The first woman is Lilith. Or the first wife is Lilith. The second wife is who? As you call Eve. And we go into Bereshit, as you call Genesis, chapter 2, verse 20 to 23. You can read that. But let's go into it. It says, but for Adam, there was not found a help suitable for him. And Yahuwah Elohim, or Elohim Yahuwah, caused a deep sleep to fall upon him. And he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh. And closed the flesh of it instead. And the rib which Elohim Yahuwah had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her to the man. So a deep sleep came upon him. So that means it took time for them to basically make her. So they put him down. So he just went to sleep. He went somewhere. So he went to sleep. They put his body to sleep, and he went somewhere to, like, on a vacation to another place somewhere and stayed there for some time. You know, however long it might have been. It could have been 10 years, 12 years, whatever. Time was different. It was really no time. But as we see it, but the deep sleep was put upon him, and so he's gone. They had taken a part of him, a part of his rib, DNA, and they took a part of his protoplasm, which come from the same rib area, and they made a blueprint of what they want to make a woman, or what they want to, let's make this woman. And so there's the blueprint of how to make her. What they're going to put breast hair, this, that, how they're going to make it. So we have the framework, a man's framework, but let's make it softer. So let's feminize it. And so they took some things and modified it and added so much that you can call it fashioned it. It wasn't really a modification. It was more like a big, huge, different thing, but still similar. So too much modification made it to be like a different being, but still similar from the same DNA. So it was a perfect creation, able to procreate like Lilith did, like Lilith and Adam did. And Lilith and Adam can procreate, but Eve, or who, was different than Lilith. She's physical, and she can procreate. So who is like, Lilith is like, there was no such thing as a woman. You never heard of a woman before, or a daughter of Eve, or a woman named Eve before. That's physical. You never heard of that before. So once she's made, Lilith, the first wife, comes around. Who's this? That's why the name is who. And she took that into English and said, let's make this who. Who's this, who's that? Because of the lifelong enmity between her daughters and the daughters of Eve. They have this, combat. They combat a lot. You don't know. Some women get taken over by Lilith, and they side with Lilith. Because they have this thing where they be angry with man, and so now they be siding with each other, and now women team up with Lilith, the daughters of Lilith, and now the daughters of Lilith get inside of the women because they don't have a man over top of them, so now they controlled by the daughters of Lilith, which is controlled by Satan, and now you got Satan controlling Adam's first wife and his daughters, and Adam's second wife and his daughters, and her daughters. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's crazy. So now this is the third, but we ain't getting to that yet. All right, so a deep sleep came upon him. Now, it also says here, let me get to it. Let's see, make sure. All right. Now that we get into the transgender part, now that you have some history, now that you have some history and information on the first wife and the second wife, now let's get into the transgender part, or whatever the case. All right, now, when it comes to the creation of man, woman, this, that, anything, there's a process, like when a baby is being born, there's a birthing process. It look like a whatever until it start growing more and more and more, and then it start to look like something. But at first it's like, what the heck is that? Which is why people, when they get abortions, they be looking at it, it don't look like anything, or they look at it like a small little baby trying to grow hands and feet and stuff. Or sometimes it like an embryo, it don't look like anything yet. It look like a leopard or a lizard or a monster. It don't look like a human. It's in the birthing process or whatever. It's not familiar. It's not something that you can recognize yet. So in the same sense, when you are transferring over, you're not recognizable yet as a woman until you finish your special case files. All right, let's go into Legends of the Jews, chapter 2, under the subtitle Woman, paragraph 8. It says this: Adam was first made to fall into a deep sleep before the rib for who was taken from his side. For had he watched her creation, she would not have awakened love in him. To this day, it is true that men do not appreciate the charm of women whom they have known and observed from childhood up. They don't appreciate, like, they known you. So when you're in your days of silliness and your days of immaturity and not knowing love and things like that, then when you get in the days of love, you try to show that love, you like, man, it don't feel real. It's like, I know you from when you were young. I don't feel real. It don't feel official. It's like almost like it's phony, but it's not. It's like you're growing to maturity and they're like struggling to see that, and they can't really hold to that. It takes some time, for them to see it, but when you watch a person grow up or a woman grow up, that's what you see. The same thing when, like I said, with the baby, and also with the creation of women. If Adam was to see who being created, or if he was to see Lilith being created, he would not have been attracted to her. Like, I know what your insides look like. Yeah, I don't want to know what your insides look like. I don't want to see your guts and all of this. I don't want to see the pomegranate looking breast under the skin. I don't want to see all of that, the skeleton and veins, and I don't want to see all that. What your inside of your, I don't want to see that. We know what it look like today because they have science to look at that. But we don't want to really see that. You know what I'm saying? We want to see what we're supposed to see, the finished product. Or else you're not going to buy it, halfway, like that. So in that same sense, for the transgender or those who are transferring over, it's really pretty much for men. It don't really count for women, because this is a thing unchangeable. A man can make himself lesser, but once you become lesser, you cannot become lesser than that. You can't become lesser than that. You are either a man or a woman. That's as less as it get. Even the daughter is a woman. So you can't get there's no difference. There's either male or female. There's no male, female, whatever else. There's no third part to the creation of mankind. That is the rule set of this existence. You can only be either male or female. There's nothing else. But those who are trying to make an in-between, or whatever the case, it don't count. It's more so you just went left. But like a circle, if you go so far left, you can end up being right. So for those who are transferred over fully on a special case, they have fall back into right standing with the Most High if they conduct themselves right. And that's where we get into this part where you have to finish your special case files. You have to get rid of the penis and the balls. You have to, so that you can fully transfer over, to consider yourself transgender. That's the whole point. Trans means to transfer. So if you want to transfer, fully transfer. Don't be trying to, like, it's no such thing. You transfer. You can't be in this school and that school. You transfer to that school, you in that school. Okay, that's how it is. And we're not talking about college and university. Like, I want to take some credits to this school and get some credits to that school, so now you at both schools. No, we talking about a full transfer. You go from this school, then you go to that school, like elementary or middle school or something, or high school. You at this school and then you go to that school. Now you at that school. That's what it's like. All right. So a man is not gonna be fully awakened in his love for you. It's gonna probably be like some kind of lust or whatever the case. You're not fully ready yet, so he can't receive you like you need to. All right. And this is something that all men can partake in, whether you're evil intended, or you're perverted, or you have some kind of different agenda about this. But it's also for holy men too, which is why it has been allowed, why it's been officialized. It's only been officialized because the transferred men becoming women, the third woman, halal, which is what I named it, halal, and we're going to go into that in a minute. Becoming a third woman can accommodate a man by having a change of soul. Soul has two words, nefesh and neshama. Okay, the nefesh is the male soul, the neshama is the female soul. All right. So if you're transferring to make yourself a feminine or a female to lose your dick and balls and now have a vagina and breasts or whatever the case, but we'll limit it to just the smallest minimum that you can fully transfer over to be accepted. If you take your dick and balls off and have a vagina, that is considered a full transfer. We're not too much worrying about breasts and butt and shape and all of that stuff, or hair, or we're not worried too much about that. You know what I'm saying? Because women out here with all kinds of differences that are actual women with eggs that can birth children. Like, you got a beard. Some women have to shave their mustache. Some women have hair on their legs. Some women have deep voices. and that actual women, that can birth children. They are the daughters of who? But halal, which is the modified man, has been accepted if you fully transfer, and they can be prepared for holy men. Now, let's go into the spiritual part. Now, when it comes to the nefesh and neshama, the nefesh houses people. Okay, it's a big, like a man's soul houses. It's like Earth. It's like planet Earth. Everybody can fit in that thing. It's a big world, and it's too vast, really, to everybody to, like, traverse that thing. It's a big, huge world. All right, and if you serve the Most High Yah, you can live in that world. All right, and it's set for other types of creations that can live in that world too. What might come after mankind, if that man makes it and become a child of Yah. All right, or come back to his position as a son of Yah or whatever. Because there are more than just one son of Yah. There are many, 144,000, as the scriptures say. So it's not just one, but there's one king of kings. There's one king messenger. The others are brother messengers. We're his brothers. You know what I'm saying? That are original from the same flock as him. And unspotted like him, but coming to the world spotted. He was given a special work to come in unspotted. You're not going to come through the blood of Adam. So you're going to be unspotted. You are the king messenger. And you were set up above everyone else. All right? The rest of us, we got tainted just coming into the blood of Adam. Coming in, and we have transgression. All right? He didn't. All right, so that's what that was. So many of us. So you come back to your position, or you come to the position of being the son of Yah. You have a soul house, and your soul house is very vast, like the planet Earth, or bigger, and you can house a lot of people, and this, that, and the third, for whatever the Most High have need of, now and future. All right, and the woman's soul is smaller. It's housed inside of the husband, like it lives inside of the castle, or whatever that man decorates his home with, or whatever the women decorate inside of that man's home through prayer. You got to pray to ask the Most High to be able to do certain things. If you both serve the Most High Yah, you can do whatever you want in this man's soul house. But it's just that you also have the benefit of being physical. You're just here physically. Whereas though Lilith, she's metaphysical only. She's not on a physical plane. So she's just looking at this place like a video game. You know what I'm saying? And whereas though you're here also. So you were made to be here physically, whereas though you were in the soul house only before. All right. So with that said, the third woman, which is halal, because the first woman messed up and the second woman messed up. All right. And that is considered, halal means to wound or to kill in Hebrew. Halal means to wound or to kill, or a slain man. All right. A man that is not technically physically dead and in a grave, but he's dead. Like you took something from him that made him dead as a man. He's not a man. He's a dead man. He's something else. He's a broken man to the point where he's dead. Like you took his dick and balls, or you chopped his dick off. You chopped his balls off. He can't procreate. He can't do the duty of a man. As in procreate or bear children or whatever. Or the feeling of being a man, like, is gone. The feeling of having a dick and all that stuff is gone. All right, Mr. Fly, keep flying around. It's gone now. There, in this case, it's not really a new thing. It's just been modified to the point where it's now clean. It's pure. It's been made pure because the intention. There are some men that transferred themselves over with good intention and are have actually been accepted through prayer and crying and all this type of stuff, have been accepted in the eyes of the Most High Mother to be considered women. And if you have a man that has been broken like that, and they now have a vagina and breast, or whatever the case, that look like a woman and all that, they went so far with it, they lost their masculine soul, which is their nefesh. So now if you find a man in Yah, which is me, or other brothers that are with me within my soul house, or whatever, they on my wings, or whatever you can call it, different ways or whatever, in the heavenly sense, it's different. So it's not a strange thing for me to talk about heavenly stuff. It's just that this might be strange to you because you just see a dirt brown man. You don't see anything special. But the brothers that are with me, they have special places too, whatever they can So that was a spiritual war that went on in 2013 that extended from 2013 to 2015 and ended, and then 2017 there's been all on trying to rekindle this war. It got physical, and then from 2017 to today it manifests to the spiritual side started re-manifesting again, after Stan Lee died and all this Marvel stuff you see, it's all spiritual war that's going on now, manifested through COVID, and now it's getting worse and worse, and a lot of stuff happening now, or whatever the case, because of the spiritual war that happened in 2013 from Disney's Ant Farm. Believe it or not, Disney's Ant Farm, there was a spiritual thing happening, and that spiritual thing that happened caused a big, huge cataclysmic event in the spiritual world, and now it's just manifested in the physical world. And here it is. We here today or whatever. I don't even really know why I talked about that, but it was a part of what I was trying to say. But yeah, the modified man has been accepted. You're given the ability to recreate your soul. That's what I was getting at with this. Your soul can be recreated, because when you start talking about the soul, you gotta talk about spiritual stuff. You have to, because your soul is not physical. So the soul is a shell that houses energy and life and stuff. So you can come back, you can get your soul back, but it has to be recreated as a female soul, a neshama. It can no longer be a nefesh again, meaning where you have that, you try to be a feminine woman, but you're a masculine soul, so you don't move right like a woman. You can tell that you're just trying to be like a woman, and you're not necessarily one. Whereas though you have been accepted and officialized, now you moving like a woman for real, And so it counts, you have a neshama. And in this neshama, children rest inside of the neshama, like unborn children that have not come from heaven yet, the highest heaven yet, into the physical world or whatever. They can rest inside of your protoplasm, or whatever the case, but they cannot be brought forth into the physical world. It's the reason why that's been allowed, because the world is now deemed not livable. Whereas though having children in this part of creation or this part of existence has been cut off. It's really been cut off. You can, but it's going to be barren children for war. Barren children to be birthed in a problem. They're only going to be born to accommodate the war, to try to fight and help the issues that's going on here of evil, And of course, children being born from hell is the same thing. They're only here to stretch forth the agenda of evil. So you're not being born to really rest. However, the first commandment ever given was to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. So with that agenda, we can now, we can now still get married, but when we get married, we just have an agenda. Okay, we can still rest and have peace, because beating them isn't having numbers. Why? Because the world has become so cowardly and so comfortable that in order to win, or in order to bring forth more holiness and purity in the world, all we got to do is get married and have children and be fruitful, multiply. We can't replenish the earth because the earth is dead, it's fallen. People die. But we can be fruitful and multiply. So as long as we do that, holiness will overtake evil. The pure side will overtake evil side, and we can push them back. It'll work. If that don't work by women being too cut-offish or being too self-centered, feministic, narcissistic, trying to be masculine like men, arguing and fussing with men, trying to rise above men, whatever women trying to do to make themselves above a man. It's not necessarily what they're trying to say, oh, women can do what men do, trying to be equal. No, they're trying to overtop that. They're trying to one up a man. They're trying to be over top of a man. It's really what they're trying to do. Because why are you trying to compete with a man to do something better than him? Why are you trying to do better than him? That's what you're trying to do. You're not saying that I can do what he can do. Then do what he can do. Help him. Don't just, that's fine. You can do what this man can do. Help the man. No, that's not what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is be better than the man. So you step away and do something on your own and try to be like, see, look, I did better than you. Or I can do it too. I can do my own thing. You're trying to not need a man, not understand that you're always going to need him. You're always going to need a man no matter what. No matter what, you're always going to need a man. Or you ride with Satan. You're going to always be with Satan, someone that's not physical. Or you're going to be with someone that is giving their soul to Satan, or giving their allegiance and their vow of servitude to Satan. So when you serve Satan on your own, that's who you run into. Men that is satanic. You're always going to run into that. When you serve and give your vow and servitude to the Most High Yah, you're going to see that. and these men aren't going to be able to get inside of your soul or be able to puppet you, so they're not going to be interested in you. They're going to always be at contention with you, trying to knock you down from heaven. And if they can't knock you down from heaven, they're going to lose interest in any different kind of way they try to do that. Having sex with you, being around you, trying to influence you, talking to you, sweet talking you, trying to look pretty, trying to be all up under you, booing you up, giving you money, gifts, this, that, all kinds of stuff they do to try to win you from the heavenly home and bring you back down so that they can have you, because they gave their servitude and that vow of servitude to Satan. Men have to do that. That's how men live. Before a man can be considered a man, you have to give a vow of servitude to one of these gods out here. So a man chooses which God he want to serve, and he served that God, and you get what you get from that God by living how you're told to live, satanically evil, doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? But a man that served the Most High Yah, you get from the Most High Yah what is holy and pure. But because that is limited in this world, we cannot even get that. They're keeping us back from getting to each other. All we have to do is understand that and just be like, oh, that's what it is? Forget it. And let's just be together then. You know, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to try to put obstacles in your way. That's it. Get to each other anyway. When you love somebody, you get to them. You know what I'm saying? I love China and McLean. All right, what I got to do the most? Well, I asked the Most High, what do I have to do? You know what I'm saying? What am I supposed to do? When this whole Black Lightning thing was going, you know, for the sake of love, like, just go out there. Like, that's what I'm saying. Just go out there to prove that you love her. Like, I ain't had no money or nothing. Just go out there. Like, nobody, like, people in the way. Why you want to be where? Why? All the excuses coming. This, that. This, why you want to all this? I ain't got no money. I just went out there for the sake of love. Went out there, came back. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm saying? These are points that I'm trying to make to help you understand intention of what we about to do here, or what y'all about to do here with this transgender stuff, you know, or transferring over fully, you know, finishing your special cases. If you finish your special case, it'll go well with you if your intentions are right. All right. I'm saying a whole lot, but still it's good. You really have to transfer over fully, man. And you have to live like a woman. You have to do the duties that was assigned to women. The first wife ever was given duties that she had to do for man. She didn't do it. She forsook him and left him. The second woman, who would you call Eve, she forsook her duties. As you see today, she forsaking her duties all day, trying to go out there and do her own thing. I don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? I can do bad, all this stuff, because you run into bad men all the time, so you just think that you don't need a man altogether, or you don't need to find a good man. Your search must always be to look for a good man, even if you're just on your own. Always keep yourself open and keep yourself searchable for a good man when you might find one. If you're genuine, you're going to find one. I'm one. Golly, I'm one. Help me out and I can get back on my feet and start doing this all strong physical man stuff that you love to see. Being taken care of, getting food and eating and going out and having purses and high heels and all this extra crazy stuff that y'all in love with. Material stuff. You'll get the spiritual benefit that you're looking for of a man that's holy and praying. He's sweet and kind and soft and a good father and this and that, and not perverted and not, you know what I'm saying? Can protect you spiritually from mental crap that you're going through in your head. You'll get all of that. I'm one. Okay? You just need to hold on, you know, while you're waiting to the Most High Yah, you know, and not be looking like, I don't need a man. You don't do that, because you always gonna need a man. A branch always need to be rooted into the tree. Too long outside of the tree is gonna dry up and get brittle and only be used for firewood. Like that, I found me a branch and throw it in the fire and just burn it up so I can stay warm. That's all earth gonna do to you. Use you for firewood so that people can keep eating, grass can keep growing and stuff like that. Food can keep growing. Use you for fuel. So, with that sense, there's something else. Something I'm trying to get out of this is not coming yet. I got talking through all of this extra stuff before I get to the main point for y'all transferring over. I guess I'm supposed to include myself or whatever, because holy men are ready if they can see and understand. They are ready. You just can't be playing either. You can't be immature, childish, or none of that. People are immature and childish all day, women and men. But we talking about mature people, because everybody's not American. But you still have men in other countries that are transferring themselves over and have become fully women with mature hearts and stuff like that. All they need is to know a holy way. They need to know the true pious and holy way, so that when they get it, they can serve the Most High Yah as they supposed to, as a female soul, as a woman. They can serve the Most High Yah and be submitted unto a man, because without the nefesh, or the male soul, you're gonna be out there loose. You need something to plug up your hole and feed you energy. That's what a woman is like. She need to be plugged up. I really know no example coming to me right now, but she need to be plugged up. All right, and if you're not plugged up to some kind of device or some kind of charging device, you're gonna not be able to keep your sight. You're gonna lose sight. You're gonna always need sperm, for a lack of better terms. You're gonna always need sperm. Sperm from a holy man is the life force from heaven that the Most High sends down to the man spiritually, and then spiritually it generates inside of his brain down to his back scrotum to the sac, and then bam, it creates semen and sperm, and then boom, the sperm goes inside of you, and it is life. If when the sperm dies inside of you, it don't really die, it becomes a part of you. You know, so the children are becoming a part of you, and now you are now moving right, seeing right, doing things right. You're able to function. It becomes life force for you. All right, it's food. You eat both ways. You eat this way and you eat that way for your spirit and your soul. This way you eat food physically so that you can survive physically. So that's what's going on here. You need a man so that you can eat. And then those who are transferred all the way over, now having female souls, nishamot, or having a nishama, you need to be fed too. You need sperm now, because you don't have balls no more, and you don't have a dick no more. So now you need life force to keep going. Okay, and so now having a female soul, you can find a husband. All right, and it's best to find a holy man, because only a husband is a man of Yah. All of this extra stuff is nothing else. It's just playing games and stuff like that, trying to survive, and this, that, and the third. You knowing the pain of a man, it should be easier for you. Seeing a good man, knowing when a man can take care of you and protect you, seeing both sides, you understand. Kind of like how Lilith understood both sides too, because she was made just like Adam was made, from the dust of the earth. So she understood what it was like to be like Adam in a way, but still haven't had the need of him, or whatever the case. She didn't like, so she left. Eve always gonna have need of a man. And so you being modified is going to always have to have need of a man. That is your blessing or your curse, however you will take it. Being transferred over is automatically that now. It's either your blessing or your curse to have need of a man. So now your job in life is not to be the man to provide and take care of a woman. You're now in the bracket of needing to be taken care of. So now you do the womanly duties of being taken care of, being fed. You are the whole. You are the one who open your legs and get filled up with food. You eat men now, whereas though women ate you. So it's a recycling system. A man can now eat from you too, as in once he feeds you, he can eat back from what he fed you with. That's how it's supposed to be. Another man, all these different men not supposed to be feeding you. So then when you get another man, this brand new man, he's eating from you different men. Like, no, he eat from himself, filtered through you what he gave you, and it comes back to him. It's how it's supposed to be. But for the holy man, it works, because if all fails and we can't reproduce or multiply, then we can still at least be fruitful and still carry out to the bitter end holiness in the world. We can still bring forth purity and light to shine into the world, the ways of the Most High, the Torah. You being the feminine part and him being the masculine part, you can still take care of the children and still help the children that are here already, from the parents that don't know what they're doing or whatever. We can fill in that blank, or adopt, or this, or do leprosy. It's not really going to be surrogacy, because you wasn't a woman to begin with. You was a man and you had sperm. It just goes to the man that you marry, and then it's like a levirate marriage, where like you died and another man had your son for you, and you did. That's what it's like. You're halal. You are a wounded or you're a slain man. Your sperm went to another man, and now the man is having the children for you, who you married, but you're not a man anymore. You're dead. You're a female now. You are a nishama. What you was is no longer what it is. There are also encounters where the Most High actually changed a man to a woman, a woman to a man in the womb of a woman already. He changed it, changed the agenda of it inside of the womb of the process. So while that process is being formed, it was doing changes and stuff here. He reconsidered and changed something. This is pretty much the same thing. There was a reconsideration in your mind, and you said, all right, I'm just going to be a woman or whatever, or I'm going to be female. And this, what you did was like what angels are like. Angels have two faces. Also, Adam was, when he was first made, he was called the man with two faces. All right? He had a masculine face and a female face. He was both male and female in one part. Okay? He didn't have the need of a separate part of a woman. It was already within himself to procreate and produce life. It was no need or whatever for another part, except for Lilith to bring forth. But Eve coming out, he now have need of Eve to keep living. It's like, how can I put it? You are already made to self-exist, right? You're made to self-exist. You just exist of yourself. It's in you. You have the male and female part in you so that you can exist of yourself. You don't need food and all of that. But now that this part has been separated from you, both that female part and that male part, you still need each other to exist of yourself. All right? A recycling system within itself that feeds itself. All right? But if you lose that part of you, you can't function anymore. You drain out and you die slowly and you fall apart. That's how it is. So men and women thinking they don't need each other, you do, okay? You really do to live. You really do. It's not about food and physical stuff. It's about you needing love, you needing sacred marriage to keep going. You go too long without it, you die early, die young, unless you start feeding off evil energy, which is what the world did. America realized it, so they said, we can't do this. People are going to die if they don't have marriage. So what can we give them, alternatively? Let's give them porn. So they threw porn in your face. And my face, too, was no such thing as porn back then because people was getting married and stuff. So they found out that we was getting married of our own accord, and it was counting, and we didn't have to go to the court system. We was getting married straight off the Bible. You can take the Bible to court and say, look, our names is written in the Bible together, so that counts as a marriage. It was counted in court that you just purchasing a holy Bible, and both of y'all writing y'all names in there. It counted, and now y'all can you can legally be married. It was like that. It had the 10 Commandments in the courthouse and everything. Now it was all different. You know what I'm saying? Try to do that today, it won't count. But back then it counted. Now it got so different to where now computers came out and now porn is out. And so that is your secondary option to keep you going. You have to survive off evil energy. Keep on watching porn and ejaculating, watching porn. That is the only energy you get to get up in the morning and get up, whatever the case, and go to work and stuff and get stuff done. It's porn energy to keep you going. So men don't want that. Men that serve the Most High Yah said no. While the Most High is looking for that man a wife, he allows that man to go that way a little bit or eat from that energy sometimes to keep himself going so that he can find a wife for him. It's like a father or a mother running out to the market to get what she need so that the baby can eat. Like ain't no food in the house, but you got money to go and get food. It's just you gotta run to it because ain't no cars running, the bus stop running. You gotta get there. So you go down there and you making your haste to get to the place, the market, so that you can get food for your baby, because the baby crying and they starving completely on E. You know what I'm saying? And so you running, trying to find a market. Anybody open, trying to get the food for the baby, So while in the process, the baby is eating stuff they're not supposed to eat, while you trying to run and get real food. You know what I'm saying? And then you come back, and you get the food that you need to get for the baby or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's like for us. We're eating things that we're not supposed to eat, waiting for the Most High to find something to provide for us that's holy so that we can eat and can keep holiness going. We're not supposed to eat fire. We're not supposed to eat fire at all. We eat water. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. We don't drink fire. We drink water. And that's the issue. That's really the only issue. There's a difference. Evil side and pure side. Evil side, they eat fire. We don't. We eat light. Life. So it has been officialized for men that have modified themselves and have become the third wife of Adam and his sons to carry out the holy way of the Most High. It's not really a strange thing because women came from men already. All right? It was like more different for you because you just was a rib at first. You just came from the piece of a man. This one is a little different, and it can be better if done right. If holiness is the goal, okay? If servitude to the Most High Yah and genuine heart fully is the goal, then it can be perfect. Better than the first wife and the second wife. Better than Lilith and better than who? Who you call Eve. You can be halal. You can be the wounded, the slain man that understand the pain of a man already. And when you find a holy man, you can be a holy woman for him. Whereas though in times past, men were castrated and stuff like that, and they were called eunuchs. Okay? And different things happen. And similar to today with eunuchs. You know what I'm saying? Is that it's like a crystal ball back in the day. Oh, look at my crystal ball and all that. It ain't nothing but a cell phone today. It's just been modified and sugared up to have a better benefit today than back then. You know, looking in a crystal ball or looking into the TV, the tube, which is a crystal ball and a similar, and now we have it in our hands like a phone, LCD, liquid crystal device. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing with the eunuchs. The men have been changed into women or females or feminine. So now you can no longer in no way even feel like the fact that you have a dick and have to adjust it and swing in the way you feel that masculinity in just having a dick and balls. But you having it, not having it anymore, you now become a neshama. You can have a female soul and you can house children. And you can birth your children through that husband in the metaphysical, in the soul world. Don't worry about the physical world, which is why it's been officialized. Because Earth is not livable. Look at it. Coronavirus is over with, slowly. Okay, hurricanes coming, flooding New York. Stuff is happening in increments. It's only getting worse and worse. You're not seeing anything let up. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is letting up. They just putting news articles and stuff out here, you know, because they see what's going on. It seems normal, but everything is climaxing to the critical moment and getting worse and worse or whatever. Alright, because we're changing the tide or whatever. From an evil system to a pure system. It's taking time, and people ain't gonna understand what that look like. It's gonna be similar to like what the Muslim life is like. Similar, but not exactly the same. We don't have the same God. Language is just language. Aramaic or Arabic is just the language, okay? But the God or the deity that we serve is what matters, okay? Language is language. There's 70 languages in the world. Stem from 7 nations. Originally, there were 7 nations or 7 kinds of men or whatever, or 7 women rather, which is the rainbow that Adam had. It wasn't just one who, but they all were called who? Eve, woman. So they were a rainbow. It's just the story don't talk about all of them. It talk about all of them as one. And so out of those women, 7 nations came, and so on and so forth. But the story is limited. It just talks about a moment in time like it just happened yesterday. Adam lived 930 years. That's a lot to put in a book. You won't have like about 2 or 3 libraries full of information talking about this man's life. Shepard Pratt, big, huge libraries, the main library, you know what I'm saying? What got every book, you're going to have to go into 3 of those. Or one big, huge library with an upstairs and a downstairs talking about this man's life. All right? So, sorry about that, though. I don't know how that happened just now. Children just came out back out of nowhere. I don't know, whatever, but always something. But anyway, they outside playing, we outside, so that's how it is. Bugs outside, we outside, people outside. Got to deal with that. We all outside. Outside is outside. It's a fair ground for everybody. So, pretty much to close the door on that, I would not mind. I really look forward to it, be honest, to have a woman. A woman is a woman. You're either the womb of man or you are the wound of man. You're wounded or you're wombed. Which one are you? The womb of man or the wound of man? A woman is a woman in my eyes. A woman is a woman. If the Most High say it's allowable and it's accommodatable for a man like myself to be with a woman, a modified, then it's okay. The most I say. Okay, it's been allowed. There's no penalty, there's no backlash, there's no demonic energy coming from it, so it's been officialized. It has not been a thing of Satan, whereas though demonic energy and stuff comes from that. People are gonna take it that way because people are evil. They'll take a good thing and make evil out of it, like tithe and offering. It's good to make a storehouse for people to always have things freely, but people are evil that take advantage of that and get rich off of it. So I look forward to it. If there's any modified man that has fully finished the special case files, they don't have a dick or balls, they have breasts, they have a vagina, and they are now replaced the masculine soul with the female soul by allowance of the Most High Yah, and willing to come into a servitude to the Most High Yah with me, and do all that, and we can continue to work by teaching people, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, they just want to mess with me. Sorry, that's what they do. They just find me and mess with me. But if that's the case, I wouldn't mind for real. My little cousins. If I wouldn't mind for real, well, I don't. I would accept any gift that the Most High gives me. You know what I'm saying? Any gift the Most High gives me. It's not about sex all the time. That's what y'all be thinking about. Oh, sex. No, I'm thinking about living, because I understand the need of a woman, but outside of just sex. I understand the energy exchange that a man needs. I understand that. Can y'all stop, please? Please stop. In the house, outside the house, y'all got all this space, the backyard way back there and all that. Y'all all the way over here where I'm at. That's crazy, yo. Trying to get close to me. It's crazy. Anyway, sometimes my aunt be telling them to mess with me on purpose so I can say stuff in the camera. But so also for y'all to know where I'm at still, because y'all be like, where he at? Is he still bop bop bop? While the video going, y'all want to know where I'm at. So, the kid's still there, so he's still trying to know where I'm at. Try to mess with me later, some dumb crap. Or try to preempt my, whatever y'all be thinking, evil and good, thinking stuff about me, wondering. But anyway, finishing off what I'm saying, I don't mind you. The Most High give me a gift. The Most High give me a gift. He give me a gift, and I'll accept it. And so that we can do His work in the world. Because women must tend to women, men must tend to men. I need a woman to tend to the women the holy matters of Yah, and I can tend to the men the holy matters of Yah for the men's side, huh? I'm on the video. Give me that. Give me. I don't know who. That's for the grill or whatever. But anyway, so with that said, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's so much more I had to say for real that I said in the other video. But like I said, questions. And I'll probably talk about this topic another time where I have complete silence, where I can fully go through the video without interruption. But yeah, man. I'll marry in the Most High Yah, in the name of Yah, a modified woman, a halal, the third woman, the third wife of Adam, when the sons of Adam, the third wife. Because you got to keep thinking about that. You got Lilith, the first, who was different from Eve, who was made different than Lilith, where Lilith is like, who's this? You know, who's the new thing? You know, and so she was considered, who are you? Like, what is this? And the Most High made something else. And Adam even was like that, like, who's this? Like, wow, I'm lonely, and you made something new for me. I'm going to call her a woman. And so now we have the third one, the modified woman. Oh, a wounded man like me, but except it's a woman. It don't have the, like, it's a woman. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. We're going to call that a woman too. You know, so it's a woman. A woman is a woman. And yeah, man, in order for me to keep living, I need someone. You know, I'm going to eventually die early and not be able to bring forth to the world the way of the Most High, the power of the Most High, the energy of the Most High to keep the world clean and the atmosphere clean. And I said in the last video, even the intimacy and the intimate sexual intercourse and whatever the case, just being intimate with your wife, husband being intimate with his wife in the name of Yah, being married, vowed in, you know, their marriage vows and all that in the name of Yah, the Most High Creator, their energy of intimacy and sexual intercourse cleans the atmosphere and make it clean. So I had to say it does. It make it clean. But when it's done wrong, you only get evil energy, like porn and stuff, through the atmosphere. It makes the atmosphere evil. So you can't think right. You have dreams, evil dreams of stuff like that. It get crazy like that. Demonic dreams, the gates of hell be open and stuff like that. But when it's clean, the gates of heaven are open, and it makes things right. So since y'all can be used for that, since the Most High saw fit, then yeah, definitely the Most High Yah's desire be done. Let His desire be done. Okay, and that's all I gotta say about that. So I'm open. I'm all the way open to it because it's something of the Most High. So it's not like I'm not gonna withhold you. I'm not gonna doubt. I'm just gonna explain it to you how I understand, how in a heavenly sense that the Most High allows this thing. Like asking for a king. Something that you wasn't supposed to ask for back in the day, but they asked for a king. The Most High saw it, went through the ins and outs and said, okay, allow them to have a king. Even though I'm their king, allow them to have a king. By them having a physical king, some of the people start losing sight of the Most High in heaven. They start losing heavenly sight. They only became physical and gave all of the responsibility onto the king and start focusing on just earthly things. And now what? They can't focus on the Most High themselves. They don't look at life as something that they got to go through themselves. Like, people worry about other people and don't worry about themselves today. And that's what happens when you put other people in authority. And that's what the Creator said. It's a sin to ask for a king. Even when a man get married, like I said in the last video, it's even a sin for a husband not to like his wife. Like, you don't want to look at your wife's breast, then that's a sin. People be looking at stuff that's a sin that ain't even really a sin. But things that are a sin that you're not thinking is a sin, you know, it's funny to you. Yeah, if you're not attracted to your wife, that is a sin. Because then who are you attracted to? Not your wife, another man, or a woman, another woman that isn't part of your family. What are you attracted to? A dog? You know what I'm saying? You have to be attracted to your wife because it shows signs that you're in right standing with the Most High, because the Most High gave you this woman. So much stuff I can talk about on this subject for real, but I'm gonna end it at that. We already done went like an hour long. I really just want to talk about this topic, but I'm gonna let it go. All the interruption is here and all that stuff, so I'm gonna let it go. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom, mishpacha by Yisrael. The Kwa Yehu Nisha Yehu Yeshuraya signing out.